Welcome back to another awesome episode of Real Talk. I'm Dr. Nadia, a Naturopathic Doctor.
I'm Alina, your editor-in-chief at the Hearty and a holistic nutritionist as well.
So today, guys, we are covering an awesome topic and a topic that most people have a lot of questions on because it's a huge subject, all about supplements.
Yeah. And it can be confusing, right? You keep reading articles about things like probiotics or fish oil or multivitamins, and sometimes people can just buy so many things and have them all sitting in their drawer and you're not really sure whether you need them or not. What's good for one person isn't good for the other. So that's what we're going to cover today, whether you really need supplements or not, if there are certain guidelines you need when you're buying a supplement.
Are they worth the money?
Exactly.
Are there things you should be worried about when taking a supplement?
It's basically a very confusing topic, and we're here to try to break it down for you and make it as easy as possible so the next time you are going and purchasing something, you feel like an educated consumer. So
that's our goal.
Yeah.
Educate you guys. Educate and empower.
For sure. Okay, cool.
Also, as per usual, I'm going to be doing my best. This is a live show, guys. Yeah. We're here for you. Although throughout the show you may be tempted to ask specific dosages and requirements for supplements, we're not your healthcare practitioners, so we can't give you that information.
Yeah.
If you have other questions regarding different types of supplements or things like that, feel free to write in and hopefully we can get to you during the show. And if not, a member of our crew or us will get to it afterwards.
Okay, awesome. Let's get started. So the first question, which I love answering, is what is a supplement really? And I know it seems pretty basic. People are like, oh, well, you know, supplements, natural pills, whatever it is. But a supplement, guys, is really a supplement to your diet and your lifestyle, right?
Hence the term supplement.
It's in the name itself.
Right?
You have to lay the foundation first. And we say this over and over and again in our episodes. Eat a healthy diet, get enough sleep, drink enough water, exercise, and then if needed for therapeutic reasons, then you can consider turning to supplements as maybe a form of medication in a more holistic or natural way.
Supplemental support.
Yeah, exactly.
So what forms, and so another term, it's probably a less familiar term, but nutraceutical is another term for supplements or the supplement industry. So now I know for a lot of you guys, when you think about walking into a health food store, the first thing you probably think of is being overwhelmed with all the different bottles, different types, different forms, different qualities, different brand names.
Yeah.
Why don't we start by just talking about what kind of supplements exist? So what forms they come in?
For sure.
And kind of what to be aware of around that.
Okay, amazing. So first thing when you are thinking about a supplement, let's talk about what's actually inside one, right? So I know when we think about nutraceuticals or supplements, you're usually thinking about vitamins and minerals, but it does go beyond that as well. It could be herbs, it could be spices, things like turmeric. You know, so those are just some of the things that could actually be in there.
Yeah, and there's also a term, a little bit of a newer term that people may not be as familiar with, but one that I really like because I use them a lot, functional food.
Yeah.
So a functional food, similar to a supplement, is kind of like a superfood type substance that has extra added therapeutic or nutritional benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
And turmeric example is a great functional food. You can also get like protein powders with additional things in them that could be considered a functional food. I mean,
for sure.
We know that supplements can come in a wide variety of forms.
Exactly. So functional foods is one of the ones that Nadia has just talked about, but then when you're actually in a health food store as well, you will notice that it goes beyond pills. And even pills come in different forms too.
Yep.
So for example, you can have a tablet, which is like a hard tablet that's a little bit more chalkier, that may have a little bit less absorption.
Think about you guys having the tablet, and if you took a flat of a chef's knife, it would crush into a powder.
That's perfect. That's a perfect example or description. So that's one form. You have a tablet, then you can have something like a capsule or a soft gel, which is a bit more absorbable. Then you can even get pills in the form of sublingual, actually. That comes for a couple of supplements, things like vitamin B12, Sublingual means you can put it under the tongue and it dissolves, and that's again really great for absorption. Now you can also get supplements in a tincture form or a liquid form or a herbal extract form. So you can see that there's a lot of different forms available, and now they sort of range on a scale from least absorbable to most.
Yeah,
So,
and potency. And so
exactly.
the interesting thing part of that is naturally you might think, okay, well, a gel cap has a liquid form and that's going to be the best form, but not always, because as we know, some minerals, they don't have a requirement to be in a liquid form. Unlike turmeric, for example, when I'm looking for a turmeric supplement, I want it to be in a soft cap because I want it to have a fat component to it, because I know that that is what my body is going to be absorbing most easily. So it's a very case-by-case basis. And for some people, especially in the world of herbal medicine, you can get something called a tincture, and that can be an extremely potent form of the herb itself and the medicinal quality. But that might not be the best for everybody, especially if you're more sensitive or you're on other medication. It's huge underlying disclaimer of this entire conversation is that the other thing, people really feel that, you know, although natural medications can be amazing and have almost no side effects to no side effects, they're still important to talk to your healthcare provider about and be aware that they can interfere with your other medications and need to be dosed and used appropriately.
Yeah, there's definitely some contraindications, and some of them are bigger ones too. So for example, St. John's wort, which people use for their mood, is contraindicated if you're taking antidepressants.
Right.
If you're on some SSRIs. So it's definitely significant, right?
Yes.
Contraindication, so you just want to be careful, like Nadia said.
And so as we move through our session today, we're definitely going to be going over kind of everyday balancing supplements that most people can benefit from. And then we're also going to be talking about some of our favorite supplements that could be used for very specific or condition-based needs. So there's different ways you can use them, and we're going to get to what that looks like.
Perfect.
I actually noticed we had one comment.
Oh, amazing.
On asking about hot flashes.
Okay.
And that is an awesome question, especially when it comes to herbs, because herbal medicine and hot flashes and hormone balancing can be really, really amazing. But before we get into that,
let's talk about some basics of supplementation.
Let's talk about that.
We can definitely get to it at the end, for sure. But thank you for your question. Okay, so here's the big question, which I know a lot of people think about. Do we really need supplements, right? If you're eating a healthy diet, you're having a green juice every single day, do you really need them? Is it helpful, or are you throwing your money away? Again, the answer is always a big, it depends.
Yeah.
So generally the way I like to tell what I like to say to my clients as well is, again, your base is always going to be your food and your lifestyle. And if you need supplements for a therapeutic reason, if you can't achieve that potency with your food, so for example, the vitamin C that you would get in an orange, to get in a capsule form, you would need maybe a bucket of oranges, right? You would need around like 16 or 17 of them to get to that therapeutic dose. So sometimes, in some cases, based on your medical history and your case, you may need a supplement for therapeutic dosage reasons, but for the everyday individual, it may not be necessary.
And just to caveat off of that, as you guys can imagine, for example, probiotics. A lot of people say, you know, I eat my yogurt, I get my yogurt every day, and I think I get enough probiotics. In order to achieve the therapeutic dose that you would get from a high-dose probiotic on a shelf versus yogurt, you'd probably be eating gallons of yogurt, which is just not feasible and not really something you probably want
enjoyable.
You'd get sick of yogurt really quickly.
So I think in around one serving of yogurt, it's 1 billion CFU, roughly, very roughly.
Depending.
Whereas a lot of probiotics, especially for therapeutic reasons, if someone needs it, it could go as high as 50, 60, 70 billion.
Yeah.
You're not going to be having 50 servings of yogurt.
No.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think it's important to remember here, guys, I am not a big proponent of over supplementation. So I believe that your money should be first spent on the food and lifestyle choices you make. And then exactly as Alina mentioned, if you need additional support, that's where you can choose your supplements wisely. Because another thing that we're going to talk about, sometimes good quality supplements can be expensive.
Yeah, they really, really can. And you should only spend on it if you really need it and you cannot achieve it through other means.
Exactly. So that's kind of the wrap up of, do you really need it if you're eating an amazing diet and nothing else matters? Yeah, for therapeutic reasons, when we're looking at supplements like natural medicine, then yes.
It's kind of like an integrative or natural practitioner's toolkit in a way, right? So
Yes.
a doctor isn't going to tell you, stay on medications every day to stay healthy. He would say, no, you just need your food, your diet, your lifestyle. But if there's a certain condition, they hand out medication. In a similar way, perhaps more integrative practitioners would first turn to this as their toolkit, if necessary, or if the medication is not going to help.
Exactly, especially if you have, for example, family history of a genetic condition, and you know that you want to take preventative steps to try to avoid that in yourself, then your supplement routine is going to look different than someone who doesn't have maybe a family history of osteoporosis or Alzheimer's, etc.
It's very case by case. Okay, so let's go through some very basic rules. If you go into a health food store, or if you go buy supplements, what are you looking for? What are you going to do? First thing that I've noted there on the left-hand side, that cute little store is a health food store, guys. So if you are looking to find the best information on supplements, you definitely don't want to go to somewhere like your random drugstore or convenience store, right?
That being
maybe
said,
a Walgreens or a Walmart.
You know what? I will say, I have noticed a serious improvement.
Yeah, they are getting better.
On the variety and the quality of the brands that are being held in a lot of major chains. So you're always going to get a better selection and probably more of the professional brands in larger health food stores. However, if you're in a pinch, sometimes you can find some decent ones in other areas.
My caveat to that too, though, also, Nadia. Actually, no, that's actually a really, really good point. I have noticed that there are better brands now. But I think if you're starting out and you want the knowledge to and the customer service experience, sometimes a health food store is a great starting point because there's usually naturopathic doctors there, holistic nutritionists on staff who can educate you if you're a first-time user. And then once you know what you're doing and what you're using, then you could turn to the Walmart or somewhere where there's the same supplement in store and you can grab that. Or do you have a caveat to my caveat?
I have a caveat to that.
Okay.
As a naturopathic doctor, often when I'm working one-on-one with my clients, I have a full medical history and a very different lens of which I'm taking this client. And I will often prescribe them very specific supplements based on their case. And then sometimes it can be confusing when they go into a natural health food store and end up talking to a non-practitioner or a clerk that may not have the same level of knowledge. So I have run into circumstances where my patients will end up taking different things than what I had originally prescribed them.
So you just have to go with a fierce mindset, understand what your practitioner has given you, and perhaps they can educate you.
Well, I think that
a bit further.
Is an awesome basic first rule. Educate yourself and work with someone knowledgeable on what it is you individually need.
Okay. Cool.
Once you have that, check step number 1, I need these things. Then we can move into, okay, these things come in these forms by these brands. I'm going to ask another professional or do my research to figure out what the quality and dosage are in each bottle so that I'm choosing the best one. Because sometimes expensive supplements can look fancy and awesome and maybe have 27 to 42 ingredients. But just because it has that many more ingredients doesn't mean that you're actually getting an appropriate dose of each ingredient.
Okay, makes sense. I
So-
like that step-by-step approach. But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you're getting a good quality supplement. There we
Quality.
go. Quality is what we can agree on. Perfect. And then again, when it comes down to some basic rules here, we've put that little piggy bank. Similar to what Nadia said, again, you don't want to cheap out and go for something that's just full of fillers and binders and artificial colors and doesn't really have good potency. You're just going to be peeing it out. It's not really helping you. But at the same time, you don't want to do the other end of the spectrum too and just think that because something is $50 more expensive,
That it's better.
That is
Yeah.
better. Something like vitamin D or vitamin C, super cheap. You can get a whole bottle for around $10. You do not need to spend on some fancy liposomal vitamin C that is $50, no matter what marketing tells you.
And that is the difference between realizing that minerals, for example, only come in one or a couple different chemical forms, but a vitamin, so a magnesium citrate is going to be pretty much a magnesium citrate, and you can be pretty sure it's going to be somewhat in the same realm of quality across brands, besides potentially a herbal supplement.
Yeah.
So a herbal supplement is going to have a lot of other variables, you know, how concentrated is the dosage? Is it organic? Have they taken the whole root? Have they taken the actual active part of the plant?
Yeah.
For example, echinacea, for a lot of people, they think, oh, echinacea is echinacea, but actually there's multiple parts of the plant.
Yeah.
There's the aerial parts, which are like the actual flower, and then you have the root. Most of the beneficial immune stimulating properties of echinacea comes in the root.
Yeah.
So if you're buying echinacea on the shelf and really it is just full of the flower, you're like, oh wait, I just spent a bunch of money on something that said it was high potency, but it had high potency of something that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess, so for
And this is
people
where marketing
watching-
is tricky too.
Yeah.
It's really tricky.
So it seems like the bottom line is
You're really fired up about this.
It can be overwhelming and confusing for people here. They might be watching and thinking, well, I don't know about the aerial part or the root. And similar to what Nadia said then, you should just know that we just want to make you aware that there are all these intricacies and things to be aware of.
Yes.
And because you have that awareness, take those questions to your practitioner.
Yeah.
And your practitioner can tell you what to look for and what you should be getting, the most absorbable forms, your dosage, what parts of the herb and the plant.
Yep.
And bit by bit, your knowledge will grow. So don't worry, don't freak out.
Don't. And also just be aware, exactly that. The more you can arm yourself with knowledge, the better you're going to spend your money and the better your results are going to be.
Yeah,
It's that
exactly.
easy.
For
I
sure.
hate people wasting their money on supplements that won't do anything for them.
Yeah.
I find that it's the biggest waste, and I'd rather them take that money and go get a massage.
Yeah, buy more vegetables.
Buy
I
more
don't know.
vegetables. A lot that
For
somewhere
sure.
else that is going to, or put it towards a vacation if you need a vacation. Things like that.
For sure. And now the final thing, guys, in terms of the rules is just really looking at the label. Again, you will get a bit of understanding of this from your practitioner, but you want to look for some basics. Things like, is there a giant paragraph in the non-medicinal ingredients section? So it should just be a couple of ingredients there, right? You just want more of your active medicinal ingredients and a couple of, you'll need some preservatives of some sort. But if there's too many binders, fillers, I know some popular multivitamins have a lot of artificial coloring in them as well, artificial flavoring. That's sort of a red flag or a warning sign that maybe the supplement brand doesn't take quality as seriously as other brands, or they should. So yeah, definitely something to look for.
And actually, there's an awesome question that after this slide we'll get into, but Jeff actually just mentioned, aren't a lot of supplements expensive pee? Meaning, aren't a lot of what you take in from supplements, your body doesn't actually absorb it and you end up excreting it in your urine? Awesome question. Leads to the next slide of multivitamins.
I love that segue. That was a perfect
Thank
question.
you. Actually, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for tuning in, Jeff.
Okay, so I think multivitamins is the first one we want to address because it's the one that impacts, I think, everyone, like the entire population. Everyone is wondering, should you be taking a multivitamin every day for optimal health or not?
Because those multivitamin companies, they've done darn good marketing
amazing marketing
to make people think that they need to take a multivitamin every single day until you die.
So I think the tone there just conveyed what our opinion of this really is. So guys, here's the thing. With multivitamins, for the most part, when you look at it, you are getting a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals, but they're at such low doses that you could kind of get that with food if you are just eating a nutrient-dense diet. Those dosages are not at such a high amount where it's going to be potent enough to actually have a therapeutic effect. You may actually be better off, for example, taking a B complex, right, which will be getting around 100 milligrams instead of like the
3 micrograms.
100
micrograms. Yeah.
Instead of getting the 3 micrograms, for example.
No, 100 milligrams.
Oh, it is, right? Yes.
Versus like 3 micrograms sometimes.
It's such a small amount that we don't know it would actually make a huge difference. But there's a caveat. Now, in what situations, Nadia, would you maybe want to take a multivitamin?
And again, as you'll notice, we love caveats because
Yeah.
often there's
Caveat.
black and white in this situation. But
Yeah.
there are definitely circumstances when taking a multivitamin or a broad spectrum multivitamin supplement could be beneficial, especially, for example, if you have digestive pathology or absorption issues.
Yeah.
I know individuals who have had bariatric surgeries done have absorption and deficiencies that they need to supplement regularly for. I know for circumstantially, especially women who are looking to take a prenatal, a little bit different because they're moving into a space where they need to supplement.
You just want to be sure with that folic acid, especially when you're hearing that from the doctor, there's no harm in taking it, right?
Exactly.
And even people, like you said, who have gut issues. So if you have, let's say, celiac or maybe Crohn's disease or something where you're just not absorbing nutrients properly, then it could definitely be something great to add to your routine.
Or if you're an individual who maybe lived in a less privileged area and don't have access to a wide range of healthy fruits and vegetables and good foods, oftentimes a multivitamin is actually needed because they're unable to get the dosages required of essential minerals and vitamins.
So I guess if you feel like your diet is not good enough, the first thing we would say is, of course, improve your diet.
Yeah.
But there's inherently no harm in taking a multivitamin if you feel like you want to fill the gaps as well and you know your nutrition isn't up to par. But again, personally speaking, we do feel that your money would be put to better use if you were just buying better food.
Yeah, I would say for the majority of people, probably 80% of you plus, don't need to be on a regular multivitamin unless you have a specific issue as outlined, as I previously said.
And you know what I like telling some people who are maybe hooked to taking a multivitamin every single day too, and they're like, oh, I don't want to part with it, I love multis. Why don't you just turn your regular smoothie every day sort of into your multivitamin? You can view those things as a multivitamin. You can just make a big green smoothie with lots of fruits and veggies, add in a protein powder, add in more greens powder, whatever you want, make that a very nutritious drink and see that as your multi. It probably has more nutrients in there than your actual multivitamin in itself, right?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't even realize that I actually do take a vitamin.
do
I'm a
take-
hypocrite.
We take them every day in the form of juice.
I know. But so example, my favorite protein powder is by a brand called Progressive. And they make an all-in-one whey, which actually has antioxidant and green support, as well as a broad spectrum, decent dose of multivitamins in it with the whey protein. So I have that as a functional food option that beefs up my overall meal, but I don't actually take a multivitamin pill.
Yeah, I just realized I do the same thing too because I have Vega greens every day. I have Vega protein, so it's a vegan protein, guys, and then again you get some greens with it, around 6 to 8 servings of fruits and veggies. So that's great, and then I add even more on top of that. So
do you guys take a multivitamin?
Yeah.
Do you guys disagree? Do you have
Let
another
us
angle?
know.
I'd love to know because it's a
know.
pretty interesting conversation for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's multivitamins, guys, and where we stand with that. Now, probiotics. This is one that has become way more trendy, I guess, or people are more aware of it now.
This is an
in the
awesome
past few
trend.
years.
I love when things that become trendy are amazing.
Yeah, it's not just like a fad trendy. It's that people are actually realizing that your overall health lies in your gut for the
Yeah.
most part. Your gut health is connected to everything. It affects your mood, your sleep, your weight loss or gain.
Your immune system, the way that you have an allergy response sometimes. Yeah.
So maybe we can actually talk a little bit too about some of the roles then of good bacteria. I'll start with some, you can add to it so that people actually realize what probiotics do. So probiotics, for example, some people don't realize that they actually help create vitamins as well. So they help with creating B vitamins, vitamin K. They actually help with the absorption as well of some vitamins like vitamin B12. So it all helps with your energy production as well.
It's all about the microbiome, the environment of your gut.
Yes.
Because there's a lot going on there, and you always want to support those healthy little guys that are helping things move and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So on top of your digestion and making sure you're regular and fighting off the bad bacteria, there's the energy that we talked about. Helping with skin conditions is actually pretty huge.
Eczema. A lot of patients of mine who have had heavy eczema cases end up getting a lot of benefit from not only taking a probiotic, but your immune sensitivity and response can be helped and balanced by potentially taking a probiotic.
Yeah. And you know when it's actually a fantastic time to take a probiotic as well. We will get into when you should be taking it, who should be taking it as well. But anyone who's been on rounds of antibiotics.
Yes.
So,
yes. Recovery to repopulate.
Sure. Yeah, it wipes out all of your good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. The good is gone too. And then a lot of people find that they have bloating or digestion issues, constipation, or their mood is off, or they feel weird after rounds of
or they get
antibiotics.
sick, rebound over and over and over again.
Exactly, because probiotics help with your immune support. So basically, if you do ever take a round of antibiotics, make sure you do repopulate with probiotics. Usually, again, talk to your healthcare practitioner, but we usually do recommend going with a higher dose first for like 1 month. Maybe it's around 50 to 100 billion, and then you can wean off or go back down to normal.
Yeah, and probiotics are definitely one of the supplements that you're going to notice have the biggest price range.
Yes.
Because especially if you're going on a really high multi-strain, it can get expensive.
Yeah.
So those are not probiotics you would be wanting to take long-term or need to. You would take them for only a short, specific period of time, and then could lower your dose and take a more regular everyday probiotic.
So for a regular everyday probiotic, is there a recommended dosage that you would say someone even start with? Do people even need to take one on a daily basis? What are your thoughts?
It's definitely one that most people would benefit from. I say a mid-dose multi-strain. My favorite one, NFH Probio Sap is my favorite one.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
It's just got like a very nice balance of different strains. So as we mentioned earlier, you're going to take different strains of probiotics for different things. For example, immune and skin things can be affected by different strains as opposed to strictly digestive. So again, work with someone who knows you best to give you the recommendation. But do I personally take a probiotic? No, I don't. Is it something I recommend for a lot of people because most people have digestive issues? Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And I personally do take one as well, so it's great you have some variety here. I take around a 20 or 30 billion every day, but again, that dosage is something that works for me. Talk to your practitioner. Some people have discomfort even at around 1 or 2 billion. You could start off really little and just feel very uncomfortable, whereas for me, I don't feel anything even if I take 50 or 60 billion, and it works really well and nicely for me every day.
Yep. And last thing on probiotics, especially if you guys have little ones in need of digestive support, stress support, skin supports, you can get probiotics actually in a powdered form that you can put into shakes or smoothies or on their food so that they're not having to take capsules, which can be really hard for kids.
Yeah, there's also these little liquid ones. I think it's by BioGaia. I think they have them for little babies who have colic as well. So there you go, guys.
All right, moving right along. We see a couple people, people love the probiotics.
Yeah, amazing.
Carrie has so many great comments.
Cool.
Hey Carrie, thanks for tuning in. Carrie's saying that she takes a great probiotic, which has a prebiotic with it. That's awesome.
That's amazing. good.
That's fantastic. And also, Tracy's asking, is inulin the best? Well, inulin is definitely a prebiotic, and there's a variety of different ones you have, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
Inulin can sometimes give people gas and a little bit of a digestive upset, so just be careful with dosage, I would say.
Yeah, with prebiotics as a whole, some probiotics are starting to do that with FOS, so fructooligosaccharides, I believe.
Nice.
That's your, I know, I remembered that. So those prebiotics on your probiotic bottles, but for some people they find that it actually does make them a little bit too bloated. Personally for me too, I actually look for ones without prebiotics. It doesn't suit me as well. So again, trial and error, see what works for you.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, moving along.
Cool.
Fish oil.
This is, again, I feel like something all of our parents have made us have since we were kids. Like, have your cod liver oil every single day. And you're like, I don't want to.
I literally remember my dad used to, like, I had to take it by the spoonful, unflavored, just like spoonful of cod liver oil. And when I was younger, I hated it.
Terrible. Not even the capsule for you.
Not even the capsule.
Liquid.
Just unflavored liquid. And it was awful. Luckily, we've come a long way, and we definitely have a wider variety of high quality fish oils. And especially for developing little ones, a regular fish oil supplement can be amazing. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite ones, especially for little ones.
Yeah. So some of the benefits, I guess, of fish oils, I think we all realize that it's anti-inflammatory, it's good for us to have every day, but specifically, it's very good for your brain health.
Brain, skin.
Your memory, concentration, your heart health, your joint health as well.
So there's actually, there's two components of fish oil to be aware of. There's EPA and DHA. So for general maintenance, more skin, anti-inflammatory, heart, you generally want to look for a 2-to-1 ratio of EPA to DHA. So one of my favorites, again by NFH actually, is the Trident sap. And it's about 600 milligram EPA to 300 milligram of DHA.
That's what you'll regularly see. I always see around the 700 to 600 range for EPA, 200 to 300 for DHA.
That's good. And now on the reverse, if we're looking for someone maybe post-concussion or developing fetus brain or little ones who need more support, we're looking for a higher DHA component. Still having EPA there as well, but that would be the difference between the two types of fish oil you'd be looking for.
I personally take the higher DHA one just
to get that brain
sharper.
going.
You know what? I think it really helps me with my memory and my concentration and focus every day, so I do take a higher DHA ratio one.
Regina. Is it Regina?
Regina, I think.
Regina, I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Regina, you have a non-fish based, so you have a vegan-based oil. I'd love to know which one you take, because I know I've had a hard time finding really good quality vegan oils.
Nutricy is one that I like.
Oh yeah, Nutricy is pretty good.
Nutricy is very popular in Canada. I like their quality, the officials, and then I think they have one called Veggie C.
Veggie C.
Is it Veggie C?
Yeah,
I think so, and it comes from plankton or something of the sort. So there are definitely options for people who are vegan or vegetarian and don't want to take it from a fish source.
So if you're taking a non-fish source, again, just take a look at that label and look at the EPA to DHA ratio. That would be my hot tip.
Yeah, because it's usually much higher in fish oil.
Yes. Yeah,
And
other hot tip for new people to fish oil, because something that it can do is actually cause a burping or a really
get to this, the fishy burp. It's terrible.
Because if you're taking it either on an empty stomach or if the capsule itself isn't enteric coated, which means it's a little bit of a thicker coating that goes and gets digested a little bit more, it can be kind of gross and people can have a really negative association with it. So I always recommend taking your fish oil with food.
Yes, 100%.
You can look for an enteric coated capsule to help reduce that, and you can also put them in the freezer.
Ooh, that's a great tip too. The freezer one is great. I didn't realize that. And actually, now that we're talking about tips, when you are selecting a fish oil, guys, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind as well that I like to look for on the label. So the first thing is the fish oil coming from smaller fish? So things like your sardines and your mackerel, because
This is good. This is important.
Yeah, because they're going to store less toxins, right? Things like mercury.
Yep.
You don't want a fish oil coming from tuna, for example. So you definitely want to consider that. And if you are getting a liquid form as well, see that it comes with some sort of antioxidant as well to help, because it's going to oxidize every time you open the bottle.
Right, because you don't want your fish oil to go rancid. Then you got to throw it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. It has a life expectancy on it. The other thing, this is a perfect example. Fish oil, though super beneficial and not a lot of negative effects, not everyone should be on a fish oil. For example, if you are on warfarin or blood thinners, fish oil has a tendency to actually thin the blood on its own, which can be really beneficial. But if you're already on a blood thinner, that's not a good combination. You got to be really careful. So make sure you're talking to your doctor or healthcare provider, especially if you're already on medication, before you start taking any new supplements.
For sure. Okay, guys. So fish oil, super great.
Okay.
Fish
oil, super great.
Super great. We love fish oil. Now here's another one that I think especially the female population will register or resonate with a lot.
Yes, the CalMag.
Because my mom included, and many people, especially once you start reaching the age around, your mid-30s, 40s, you start wondering as a woman, should I start taking a calcium supplement for my bones? Do I need to take a regular CalMag? And again, the answer is a bit of an it depends. Now, if you have a history of something like osteoporosis or are at risk, or perhaps it runs in your family and you're not doing other things to support your bones like weight-bearing exercises and strength training, maybe.
Or you've had a hysterectomy really early and your estrogen and hormonal band is completely off.
That's great.
You may want to look at supplementing.
Yeah, then you may want to consider a CalMag supplement, and go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other thing to remember is to build bones, it takes more than just calcium and magnesium.
Yeah.
You need a couple other factors to help with bone building, if you will.
For sure.
Vitamin D3, boron, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium.
Vitamin K2.
Vitamin K2.
Some silica.
A little bit of silica. So a well-rounded supplement. My favorite, actually I think both of our favorites.
Both of our favorites,
is by AOR. It's called Bone Basics.
Bone Basics.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
It's well-rounded. It's got all the components of the bone building that you need. But don't forget, guys, one of the best way to increase bone density is actually weight-bearing activity.
Which just means lifting weights.
Pumping's iron.
Doesn't even need to be
doing's iron.
That's great. That's a great impression. I love it.
Thank you.
Those expressions.
Thank you.
But yes, for sure, weight training.
Weight training is an awesome way to make sure that you're building strong bones.
And it doesn't need to be super heavy, right? People think like, oh my God, I need to lift like 100 pounds. You can do 10
resistance
pounds.
Training, swimming, bands.
Yeah, you don't even need weights. You could just do push-ups.
Isometrics.
Yeah, anything that just creates that force, that resistant force. So that's definitely the number one thing you want to do.
So you don't necessarily need this, but if you are looking for this, make sure that you're getting a good, well-balanced supplement that has other factors in it besides just calcium and magnesium.
Yeah, that's when you know that it is not a very good supplement, when it is just calcium. Okay, moving on to another very common one, or actually common vitamins that people like to take on a daily basis. So these are our vitamins B, there's multiple B vitamins, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Now, actually,
the sun.
Yeah, relating to vitamin D, just to make that connection. Actually, before we even get into these specific vitamins, we just want to distinguish between water-soluble vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins. Now, your fat-soluble vitamins are vitamins A, D, E, and K, and these are the ones that you want to have with a source of fat, like food. So those bottles will usually say, take it with food. And these are also the ones that you want to be careful not to overdose on, because you easily can get to a toxic dose if you take too much of them.
Because there are upper limits for things that you want to be careful on.
Exactly. And now other vitamins, like all of your B vitamins and vitamin C, they're water soluble, so you don't have to take them with food. You can just take them straight with water, and your body does flush them out every couple of hours. Now, it's not to say you should go crazy having so much vitamin C, like 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C in a day, because it will create a response. You are
probably pretty aggravating.
a very laxative
effect, yeah.
But it's not going to be toxic because your body is going to flush it out.
No, so actually, for those of you who have taken a B complex or or have taken a multivitamin, when you do notice that your urine is almost a neon toxic yellow, that's actually the B vitamins. So there's excess B vitamins that are being flushed.
Yeah, that answers Jeff's question from before.
It's true. We also had one really good question that I didn't want to leave.
Okay.
Tom is asking, oh no, not Tom. Wait, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hey, Kate. Kate is actually wondering, how do you know if your fish oil has gone rancid?
This is a great question. So my response to that, and then you can let me know as well what yours is. Hopefully it matches. For me, it's when it actually has a very smelly or fishy taste.
Think rotten fish.
Yeah, like you should not have to open your fish oil and be like, oh my God, that reeks of fishiness.
Like, am I in a fish market? This is awful.
Yeah.
Everything smells terrible. Rancid.
No, I've done that before and I've thrown it out. And again, just look at the expiry. Fish oil is something you want to be really careful with. From the second you open it, usually it's a couple of months. It says consume it.
Keep it in the fridge.
Consume it then, yes, in a
or in the
dark,
freezer.
cool area
Yep.
in your fridge or freezer, for sure. So yeah, hope that helps.
That's my hot tip.
Yeah.
Either tasting it or smelling it. If it tastes or smells overly
Super
fishy, it's gone off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay, so back to these vitamins, guys.
Sorry, back to the slide.
Back to the slide. So let's start off actually with the sun over here, vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is one that we would say someone should have on an everyday basis, only in, let's say, the winter time, or if you do not have exposure to the sun on a regular basis.
Or you definitely need immune support. And we're always, when looking for vitamin D, you're always looking for D3.
Yeah, definitely. So that is definitely one you want to take. And now in terms of how much to take, again, speak to your healthcare practitioner, but this can be a bit higher than the 1,000 IUs that usually doctors recommend. You can go up to around the 2,000, the 5,000 IUs, and that is safe for people to take. And many doctors are recommending that amount as well, actually, now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the drops because we know that vitamin D we want to have in a fat source. So you can get tasteless, or even sometimes they're a little flavored.
Yeah.
Just emulsion drops that you can take. Often one drop will have 500 IUs to 1,000.
Yeah.
So 3 to 4 drops, it's a great place to start.
Yeah, for sure. And now when it comes to your B vitamins and vitamin C, again, not something you need to take on a daily basis. It's more
unless it's a case
when.
specific.
Yes. But for the general, regular, healthy population, you don't really need to unless you need it for certain benefits. So for example, your B vitamins, very good for energy production.
Yeah, B12 guys, especially vegetarians or non-meat eaters who need to supplement. B12 is an important part of blood health, energy levels,
getting rid of brain fog,
all nervous system, all sorts of good things.
For sure. So definitely your B vitamins, and of course if there's some nerve damage, I know you were saying before too, Nadia. So that's when you would look at some B vitamins. A good B complex, usually you can find B100s, I'd say is a great place to start. Now with your vitamin C, again for immune support, if your immune system is very compromised and maybe you're always getting sick, it might be something worth adding in every day. Any other reasons where you would recommend having it in every day?
Like a circumstantial vitamin C dosage could be if you have really bad seasonal allergies or a bad histamine response. You can do some dosing with high dose vitamin C that
helps
can be
reduce
helpful.
that inflammation and the histamine response.
Yeah,
for sure.
The other really big B vitamin, especially for people who deal with a high stress environment, is B6. Super important for adrenal support and health.
Just to add to that, it just reminded me of something. Actually, if someone does have adrenal fatigue, I believe if you look at a good adrenal complex, it usually will have your key B vitamins and your vitamin C. So you don't need to go taking additional vitamin B and C. If you're getting a good adrenal complex, it'll have that in it anyway. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I dig it. I dig it.
Okay, amazing.
Sorry, I know we're like we're going on like every rant on all sides. It's such a big topic, and we could spend an entire episode on the different forms of B12. Because there's cyanocobalamin, there's methylcobalamin. You can get it sublingual, you can get injections, you can get drops, you can get pills. Anyways, big topic. We can probably have another topic about that.
For sure. And you know what? If you have follow-up questions, just let us know. We will answer them.
Yes.
So here are some of our favorites. So those were some of the most common everyday supplements that people usually have or have questions about that we wanted to cover. And now we just want to talk through, again, some of our personal favorites. So my personal favorite is actually adrenal support. So
there are no adrenals.
There
should be.
I couldn't
be
find
little
it in the
hats.
stock
Oh,
images.
That's
I
fair.
Anyway,
They
sit
sit
on
on
top
your
of the
kidneys.
kidneys, guys. Your adrenals sit on top of the kidneys.
I was like, kidney support?
Anyway, adrenal support. Now, this is something that I would say you don't want to be on all the time. This is something you want to cycle on and off when needed. So I know for myself, this is maybe the third or fourth time in my life I have gone on adrenal support, where sometimes you just feel a little extra burnt out, or you feel the symptoms of adrenal fatigue. You can then take something that includes herbs. So I take one by AOR called OrthoAdapt. It has things like ashwagandha, rhodiola, a glandular in it, your vitamin B and C, all of those great things, or rhodiola on its own as well I've taken, which is fantastic. And I would take it for one course, finish the package, and then I'm off of it.
Yeah, not something you want to take continuously, and a lot of adrenal supplements can be very stimulating.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah.
Don't just take one blindly, because if it's too stimulating, especially glycyrrhiza or Panax ginseng, can be very stimulating for some people. It's not necessarily what you want when you need something to chill you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, adrenal support is something I love that I feel has like a very immediate effect or result for me personally.
This is on one of my slides too. Twice a year, I go on a regular adrenal supplement. In the fall, back to school is a busy time for me. I know there's a lot of deadlines, and I know there's a lot of people who are going to get sick.
Yeah.
So I always make sure I take an adrenal then,
For sure.
and then I also take one in the new year in January.
Yeah. So not only do you get more energy, but you also, I find you have more clarity, and the brain fog. Clearly it's working. Oh, my brain fog. My brain fog clears a bit as well. And yeah, I don't get hit as hard with the cold and the flu season.
We actually did an awesome episode all about adrenal health that I really recommend you guys take a look at, because adrenal health is huge.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of myths and misconceptions with that. You can find that in the videos section of our Facebook page.
Yeah.
All of these are always taped and then saved. So if you missed one, go check our other talks. Last week was poo?
Constipation? No, last week was anxiety.
Last week was anxiety. The week before that was constipation. Big episode.
Seems like you have some brain fog.
I have brain fog.
So, which brings me to the other favorite supplement of mine, guys. I actually do really like taking a source of DHA, and I say DHA because right now I'm taking it in flax oil.
How about that?
So, yeah, I find just a little, sometimes I don't like the fishiness with the fish oil, and flax oil is actually cheaper as well. You can get a great big bottle of pure flax oil for around $10, and I find it has a very similar effect. It's high DHA, keeps my brain sharp, so that's what I'm digging right now.
Cool.
Yeah, let's move on to what Nadia loves.
I am a huge herb lover, so my regular supplements on a regular basis, I usually take a magnesium and taurine, so a magnesium bisglycinate in the evening. For me, it helps with sleep and as a muscle relaxation, especially if I've worked out and I'm a little sore, I have some delayed muscle onset soreness. But another big one is herbal in the form of adrenal support. As you mentioned, as we talked about, I go on that twice a year, once in September for about a month and a half to 2 months, and then I'll go on it again in January or February of the new year. And knock on wood, there's no wood around.
No wood.
Knock on wood. it's really helped me keep level, keep calm, keep from getting sick or burnt out. It's been really, really good. Another one that I regularly take is a high dose curcumin supplement.
Of course, our turmeric, guys.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is from an anti-inflammatory, an anti-aging, and a brain boosting and mood boosting kind of area. My favorite one is Medica, and it's got about 750 milligrams in an emulsified soft gel, meaning that it has your fat component you want, and it has a very, very high dose of curcuminoids, which is the active component that you're also looking for.
And how often did you say you take that?
Once a day, every day.
Oh, every day. Amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I actually take that once a day, every day is kind of a positive benefit. I know in my family history, I do have family history of Alzheimer's and dementia, so I'm thinking of it from a preventative and brain health.
That's smart.
Yeah. And the other one that I take every day, you guys already know I'm obsessed with it, is matcha.
I knew you'd say matcha.
So matcha more as a functional health food. So powdered green tea, awesome antioxidant, also awesome L-theanine for mood stabilizing and energy. The other functional food that I absolutely love is Manuka honey. Yes.
How is that different to regular raw honey, though?
Oh, so different.
How, Nadia?
Oh, so different. So a key component in a high-grade Manuka is the amount of methyl glyoxide. So methyl glyoxide. That's actually what creates the antibacterial and antiviral capabilities of the Manuka that is found in a much higher dose than regular store-bought honey. In general, you want to look for at least a 10 plus in a UMF. That's what I have.
And do you just mix it into your matcha? Is that how you have it every day?
I do love doing it. I also, you can take just a spoonful of it, especially if you're coming down with a sore throat, because of the direct antibacterial effects that it can have.
Amazing.
And on my skin. Manuka on your skin has amazing wound healing and it is natural polysporin to the next level.
I can imagine, because when I have a burn or a wound, I just put regular raw honey on it and it helps so much. So Manuka honey would be next level. Next level. Small story before I leave you. 3 years ago, I went to New York for the first time, bought a new pair of boots. For some reason was like, oh, I'm gonna buy these new leather boots and not wear any socks in them. First of all, awful idea. I ended up getting a blister, probably the size like this big, that was bleeding through my leather boot. I had a wound, like it was a wound. Anyways, went home, had to wear basically flip-flops for the rest of the time because I couldn't wear other shoes. Ended up using Manuka, covered on the wound. In one day, I had reduction of pain and inflammation, and by day 2 and 3, new layer of skin. That's crazy. Day 5, almost complete resolution. I'm gonna go buy myself some Manuka now. I have the pictures to prove it. I actually have a blog post that I can show you guys because it was incredible. We will post it on the Hearty Soul. I want to see those photos. Okay, great. That's awesome story. That's it. Awesome story. We're maxed out on our time. Do we have any questions? Oh, we have so many. Okay, let's go through a couple. Thank you guys for all your questions. It's awesome. Oh my gosh, Michelle, hello Michelle, is asking, are there certain vitamins you should not take together? Great question. There are definitely things you don't want to take together because you don't want them to interfere with each other or kind of cannibalize the effective ones. So, and then there are ones that you definitely want to take together. For example, iron and vitamin C. Vitamin C can actually help the absorption of iron when taken together. So for example, I just thought of one example where you don't want to take two together. Let's say you're taking fish oil, which is thinning your blood. So you're taking fish oil for maybe brain support, and then your doctor has maybe put you on some vitamin K to help you with clotting. Right. Because they're canceling each other out. He's saying you need to help clot your blood with vitamin K, and then you're doing the exact opposite with the fish oil, so they're going to cancel each other out. So again, it depends on what your situation is, but there are are some circumstances, we shouldn't take them together.
And also, for example, if you're taking an adrenal support, because adrenal support can be somewhat stimulating, you're not going to take that before you go to bed. You're probably going to take that first thing in the morning, and then if you're actually coupling it with a magnesium or some sleep support, you're going to space that out and take that later on in the day.
Which reminds me too, B vitamins. My husband did this once. He did not know you should not take B vitamins before going to bed, so he was
because they can be stimulating.
They're very stimulating because they're good for energy. So the best time to take them is in the morning or early afternoon. You don't want to take them late at night. So
it's true.
Definitely lots of situations.
Oh my gosh, guys, 7:55. Okay, we got to go.
Okay, we have to go.
We got to go.
But if you have more questions, let us know, and we are definitely going to answer any ones that are unanswered there right now.
And if you guys have specific areas of concern or supplements you want us to dive deeper in, let us know, because we are constantly looking for new topics to talk about with you guys.
And we love supplements.
And as you can tell, we love supplements, and we love demystifying supplements. So
for sure.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw today, please give us a like and a share, and maybe a heart if you want. We'll be here again next week, same place, same time. Tuesdays, 7 p.m. EST. Right?
That is it.
That's
Brain
right
fog.
Now. Brain fog. But
We'll see you guys.
Have an awesome evening, guys. Take care.
See you next time.
Hey YouTube! Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode.
And if you liked what you watched, please be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, and if you had any questions or comments, you can just hit us up below. You can also give us a like. And if you missed last week's episode, you can see that right over here.
And if you do want to see more of our previous episodes, you can catch them all over here. And also, be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. for our other show, Real Food Live. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.